All right, this is Schuyler Barbeau. He's currently looking at 10 years in prison for Second Amendment, for the government not respecting the Constitution and the Second Amendment. And I wrote to him, and I just wanted to record the response because I think it's important, and you guys might be surprised. But I said, can you bring up? I said, well, I always try to include a Bible verse because the Bible is ultimately the path unto our feet. 2 Corinthians 3:17 is what I sent him. Now the Lord is that Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. And then I go on to write, can you bring up jury nullification to your jury and have someone from FDC.org, Fully Informed Jury Association, testify or give out FDC material so that your jury knows that they can also judge the validity of the law? And then I send him the contact information for FDC. And here's Schuyler's response. I'm not allowed to say anything about jury nullification. I mentioned it to one of my attorneys once, and he laughed at me as if I were crazy to suggest that. I know there's old Supreme Court decisions about it, and I've read other stuff about it, but the courts today do not allow it to be said to a jury. The best way to get a jury to do something like that is to educate prior to trial. If the public were informed, then there might be a chance. Most of the jury is probably going to be Seattleites, the liberal capital of America. I also believe that if one of my jurors did know about jury nullification and executed it, my judge would declare a mistrial, saying something like, I gave you the law and the government proved the facts beyond a reasonable doubt. You must find the defendant guilty. Then he'd declare a mistrial. Unfortunately, my case isn't like most criminal trials. Like the trial in Oregon where the first group was found not guilty, the government does not have to prove. I lost my place. Sorry, hold on. Where did I oh, here we go. The government does not have to prove an intent to violate the law or malice. The government only has to prove three things in my case. 1, did I possess the machine gun? 2, did I know the characteristics of the firearms? Did I know it was full auto and a barrel less than 16 inches? And 3, was the firearms unregistered? That's it. I can't argue that I never had intent to break law and that I was just trying to exercise my rights. The government filed a motion in limine to prevent me from arguing the Second Amendment, and the judge already granted it. The Supreme Court has ruled that the Second Amendment doesn't protect machine guns and SBRs. Since I don't have that right, I can't argue it. It's really dumb. Thanks for all the information, though. I'll think about FDC. Oh my goodness. So that's Schuyler Barbeau. Like he said, he feels like a cattle who's fenced in on his left and he's fenced in on his right. He has nowhere to go, and they're just forcing him straight into the slaughterhouse. Must be a terrible feeling. My wife sent me this. I'll try to put the link in the description bar. The judge openly laughs at defendants' rights. This came out April the 3rd. This Judge Gloria Navarro seems to be a real piece of work. It's absolutely horrific what's going on in this country. Why can't we use the Constitution? Why can't we argue the Constitution in front of the jury? You're gonna send a Marine veteran to prison because they're disallowing the Constitution in the courtroom? I thought the Constitution was the highest law of the land. Why not let the jury decide what's constitutional and what's not? And if they want to argue jury nullification, they should be able to argue jury nullification. I think even this article had the word nullification in it. Let's see if it did. Yeah, look at that. Jury nullification is her worst fear. She continues to tell the defense that she will not allow them to put on any defense that might sway her jury to nullify. This includes any information of why these men came to Bunkerville, the abuses of the BLM agents, and more. Judge Navarro is quoted as saying the risk of jury nullification for the jurors to hear about different defense witnesses, that can't happen. Navarro mentioned this at least 3 times during the day. Look, this is horrific that they're not allowing an argument of jury nullification. The jury is the one who gets to decide, not these paid-off judges. And you know what Daniel Riley said in his letter? He said that the colonists sent the townspeople and the militia to the judge's house. that were loyal to the king, and they tarred and feathered these judges. And they made them read aloud publicly their resignations. I suggest you listen very carefully to what Daniel Riley wrote. It is radicals that founded this country, and it is only radicals that can save it. Please remember Schuyler Barbeau. Please remember the other political patriots. This is a war. If you don't understand what a war is, it means you're putting everything you got, every ounce of energy you have, all of your intellectual energy, all of your physical energy, every talent that you have, because you got to beat the enemy. If you don't beat the enemy, our children's freedoms are lost forever.